Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. I hope you had a great day. The first story is called Enjoy the Wait. I work security in a phone shop in a major city. This shop is pretty much the flagship's overflow shop, so we aren't busy unless the main shop is packed. On this particular day, both shops were insanely full. There was a large queue in the shop, and it wasn't getting smaller. This man walks in, and he starts walking past the queue. It's not like the queue is hard to miss, so I approach him. "Excuse me sir, there's a queue there, you need to join it." "No, I'm fine." "Sir, there's a queue, you have to join it if you want to talk to staff." He has now walked past the queue, which is about 10 people big, and is standing opposite to the desk by the wall. "Sir, if you want to talk to staff, you have to join the queue." "I heard you the first time." "Okay, but you will not be served before the people in the queue." "Whatever, you go back to the door and leave me alone." I look at the manager, and he gives me a nod to let me know he's got this. The man tried a couple of times to be served, but he was told by staff to first join the queue. Then he was just ignored as they served the people in the queue. The queue does not get smaller, in fact it grows a couple of times. I watch him get annoyed and start huffing and cursing under his breath. He has to wait for almost an hour and a half because he wouldn't join the queue. When the shop is finally empty, the staff take their sweet time with the paperwork. The manager said they could, and he would sort him out. The manager approaches him, and he is not happy. He complains about the wait, and the manager just looks at him with absolute incredulity. He says something stupid to the manager, and the manager kicks him out. In my opinion, this guy absolutely deserved to be kicked out of the store. What did he think? That he is just entitled to skip the line? The next story is called Next Week. I worked for an airline company. At this company, they started a smaller company that could hire and train people to run the planes. But they would pay them way less at certain airports. Where my colleagues at other airports were making over $20 per hour, I was getting paid $10.25 for the same and sometimes more work. All of us had 2 to 3 jobs to be able to pay rent. And we were all in the job for the benefits. Free flights to anywhere in the country on standby. Anyway, I had a boss, we'll call him Jim. I had to go to the hospital from the airport because of intense pain in my stomach. It turns out that because of stress caused by that job, my intestines decided to stop functioning. I spent that day in the hospital. And then they gave me a note saying that I didn't have to work the next 2 days. I told Jim's boss that, since I hated talking to Jim when I went back to work 3 days later. We had 5 people to load all luggage, load the water, and push out 5 planes in a little over an hour. Already an incredible amount of work for so few people. We had our morning work meeting to discuss how messed we were. Then Jim asked me into his office. "Your attendance is unacceptable." Dumbfounded, I asked what he meant. "You've been late a couple of times and now missing the past 3 days." "Jim, I have the note from the hospital." "According to work policy, that shouldn't affect my attendance." "I don't care what work policy says. I am going to fire you." Again, I cited work policy since we were protected by a union. "Jim, you have to give me an attendance warning before you are allowed to fire me for attendance." "This is the first time I'm hearing about attendance, so you can't fire me right now." "It doesn't matter. I'm going to give you a warning right now, and when I get back from vacation next week, you're going to be fired. And now, go back to work. My decision is final." So I told my coworkers what happened. Then I decided, alright, well, if next week he's firing me, I'll just leave now. And even though their day was about to be messed up, since now 4 people were working 5 planes, they all said, "Screw this place, get out of here." So I left and went to get breakfast. This all happened at 4 AM. As I'm enjoying my meal, Jim calls me, and I happily ignore him. He calls 3 more times and then texts me asking where I was. I told him, "You fired me, why would I keep working for you?" No response. I tried to soak in the sight of Jim running between planes like a chicken with his head off. I don't imagine any plane took off on time that morning. I get a call from HR and the union rep and the general manager who is Jim's boss. They all said Jim was wrong and asked me if I could come back to work it out. But quitting felt so good, and I felt such weight lifted off my shoulders thinking about not working there anymore that I never went back. From a former coworker I heard Jim mess with another coworker's health really hard. But they still didn't fire him. Instead, they promoted him to manage the workers who did ticketing and no manual labor. As far as I know, Jim still works for them. The last story is called Just Answer the Emails. Sometime around 2000, I worked for a major finance brokerage company in the IT department. I worked the overnight shifts alone. And, among other things, my responsibilities included monitoring of the company's most important servers. This included the trading servers, as well as performing almost all repairs on these servers, since my shift was the least impactful on business. These servers were how every trade from every broker worldwide was processed on behalf of clients. We had 8 servers, all behind a load director. For those non-IT people, think traffic at an intersection with a cop letting vehicles know which way they can go. At the time, I reported directly to one of the assistant vice presidents for IT. At some point during my job, I began to notice issues with our trading servers. I determine the cause and come up with a plan to repair the failing parts. On the first night of the week, I will take down 2 servers, repair them, bring them back up and put them back behind the load director. I will repeat this for the next 3 nights, allowing all 8 servers to be repaired with minimal impact. And I still have the last night of the week in case anything goes the wrong way. I had the authority to do this with just about any of the 1000 plus servers the company had. But I could not touch these without the approval of our assistant vice president of IT. Let's call her Dawn. So I sent an email to Dawn detailing the problem, the parts I needed to order and the plan. All I needed from her was a response that said approved, and I would have everything completed within 2 weeks. Also, note that I had read receipts turned on for all my emails. As you can probably guess, I heard nothing back. 2 weeks later, I followed up with another email reminding her of the issue. I included all the documentation I had sent with the first one. But again, nothing. Another 2 weeks go by. I send a second follow-up email noting that this isn't a question of if the machines will fail, but only a matter of when. But still, crickets. Another 2 weeks go by. It is now about noon on Friday, and I am home, having just begun my weekend. I get a call that goes something like this. Hello? Hi, this is Katie. I asked, who? When I'm off the clock, that part of my brain turns off. It's Katie last name, your boss. Katie is the vice president of IT, Dawn's boss. Oh, hey Katie. What? Oh, this cannot be good. I am now realizing that my boss's boss is calling me at my house. All the trading servers have crashed. We need everyone on hand. I'll be there in 20 minutes. Basically, one server crashed and the load from that server was transferred to the remaining 7, which caused number 2 to fail under the increased load. Rinse and repeat for all 8 servers. I arrived at work to find the entire team was there with 8 brand new servers ready to be built. We get everything built, locked down, restored from the latest backups and online again by 6 PM. Then home for the weekend. I get to work Sunday night, my Monday, and the first thing I do is print out emails and those oh so precious read receipts. I place them in a nice folder on the corner of my desk. At 7 AM Monday morning, end of my shift, Katie walks into my office. She asks me to join her in her office. I say sure and grab the folder and follow her. When we get to her office, present are me, Katie, Dawn, and a lady from Human Resources. Katie said, "So, I understand from Dawn that it is your job to monitor the trading servers. Can you tell me what happened?" "Sure." I open the folder. As you can see from this email with this date highlighted for your convenience, I notified Dawn of the problem. And I requested approval to go ahead with the fix. Here's the read receipt showing she read it the following morning. "Okay, thank you. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow morning." The company lost a stupid amount of money, making good on every single trade that didn't happen due to the crash. I came back to work that night to find out from the team that Dawn was gone. I never told them the details. I was assigned to the backup contingency planning team. Later, I was assigned to a team that implemented the things so that something like this would never happen again. and we got a new assistant vice president. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.